If you're training for aesthetics, then dirty bulking is just not the way to go. I think we as people, we often tend to lie to ourselves. And what I mean by that is we don't look at things subjectively. I would look at myself in the mirror and I thought I looked just fine. I thought I was putting on muscle. I thought I was getting bigger. But in reality, I didn't realize this, or maybe I did realize it, I just didn't want to admit it. I put on way more fat than muscle. I think I probably put some muscle on because those pictures, that was not the beginning of my weight training journey. I've been lifting weights for about 2 years now. And before I looked the way I looked in those pictures, I was actually, I wouldn't say I wasn't shredded by any means, but I was pretty lean, I was pretty skinny. So I thought that the next step was to go on a bulk, put on more muscle, and then cut and look the best that I've ever looked. That was the plan, right? But I also knew that you don't need to be in that big of a calorie surplus to put on muscle. So my maintenance calories is around 3,000 calories, right? During that bulk, I was probably eating at least 5,000 calories a day. And I can't give you an exact number because honestly, I wasn't keeping track of anything. My mentality was, all I really need to care about is how much protein I eat and how hard I train, and I'll put on muscle. But you need to, if you're bulking, you need to keep track of everything you eat, because if you don't do things right, you're just gonna end up fat. And then you're just gonna end up having to cut for a long time, when that entire time you could have spent putting on muscle, lean bulking. During that bulk, I was probably eating, probably like 5,000 calories a day. Some of the meals I would eat is, I would go to Whataburger a lot. I would go to Whataburger for breakfast and lunch. For breakfast, I would get me a breakfast bowl with like 2 taquitos. Then I would go back for lunch. I would get a sweet and spicy bacon burger with large fries. Then when I would get home after work, I would have a shit ton of ground beef, maybe some more burgers. I would buy burgers from Walmart, have some more burgers. I was eating a lot of burgers. What else? I would have like, they got like these cheese Ritz crackers. I think they come in like a pack of 8 or some shit. I would eat all 8 in one sitting. I would also have like some protein shakes. I would pretty much just eat anything I could get my hands on, and I have a pretty big appetite, so I could stuff my face all day every day, and that was happiness for me, you know. But then like I would start taking, so like when I would look myself in the mirror, I thought there was nothing wrong, right? But then I would start taking pictures and I was like, shit, am I getting fat? But like, it's like I didn't want to admit it, because I had set this goal. I wanted to get to 200 pounds, and I'm not very tall. So for me to get to 200 pounds, I just don't think it's doable while staying lean. But I didn't care how, like, I wanted to get to 200 pounds by any means necessary. And like, I didn't know why I wanted to get to 200 pounds. I think the reason why I wanted to get to 200 pounds is because I would see all these posts on social media, people talking about like, if you're under 200 pounds, you're victim weight, right? It's like, I would take shit like that to heart. And I know I'm not the only one. I know social media plays a big role in everybody, you know. Influencers, they just, like, you see all these physiques online and then you just feel like shit, because you're like, damn, why can't I look like that? But yeah, I would see people talking about, if you're under 200 pounds, you're victim weight. And that's why I wanted to get to 200 pounds. I said, I don't care how I look without a shirt, because how often am I walking around shirtless? Like, no one seeing me shirtless, so I want to look as big and muscular as possible when I have clothes on, which is most of the day, right? But man, did I get fat. And now I'm currently 155 pounds. I got up to 183 pounds during that bulk. And even now, I'm not very lean. Like, I'd say I'm probably around 20% body fat right now. I'd say, yeah, around that 20% body fat. So when I was 183 pounds, I was definitely well above 30% body fat. Because I've lost 30 pounds, pretty much almost 30 pounds, about 30 pounds. and I'm still not where I want to be, you know what I mean? That's why I said, if obviously not everybody trains for the same reasons. If you're training for strength, or you want to be a power lifter, or you just don't care about putting on some extra fat, then by all means do what you want to do, you know? I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm saying if you're training for aesthetics, I'd say definitely make sure you keep that body fat in check. There's body fat percentage charts online. Obviously there's no like 100% way of knowing for sure what your body fat percentage is, but those are good estimates. Definitely don't use like your the weight scales, because those are way off. But before you bulk, I'd say definitely make sure that you're actually lean, because when you go on a calorie surplus, yeah, you're gonna put on muscle, but even if you take it slow, you're still gonna put on some fat, you know what I mean? So I'd say, I mean, at least that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut down to about 140, around that. That should get me to like 12% body fat, and then I'll probably maintain that for the summer, and then I'm a bulk. But this time I'm gonna do things right, because even now while cutting, I've been doing things a lot better than I ever have. I'm keeping track of all my calories, my carbs, my proteins, my fats. I'm taking vitamins too. I'm going hard in the gym. That's another thing that affected me. So I was training hard in the gym, like I was going close to failure, but I was switching up my routine way too much. Like, say for biceps, one week I would do preacher curls, but then the next week I would switch and do cable curls, then the next week I would switch and do dumbbell curls. It's like there was no consistency. And the biggest key in building muscle is progressive overload. Progressive overload is that you're getting better at your lifts from a week to week basis. So like, give you an example. If 1 week on dumbbell curls, you're curling the 25s for 8 reps, but then the next week you come back, you do 25s again, but this time you can do 9 reps. Then the next week you come back, do the 25s again, then you do 10 reps. Then the next week you add weight, you actually do the 30s for 6 reps, and you keep going, so forth and so forth. That's progressive overload. That's how you know you're putting on muscle. But when you're constantly switching your routine up, you're not really getting good at anything, because you keep switching things up. You can't progressively overload if you keep switching things up. Does that make sense? I was doing that a lot. So even though I was training hard, I wasn't progressively overloading. So I'd say now I'm definitely stronger now at 155 pounds than I was at 183 pounds, which is just crazy to me. But that's just to show how much fat I put on. I can't believe I let myself go like that, but I will never let that happen again. But you live and you learn. Like, one of the biggest lessons the gym has taught me so far is delayed gratification, which means it's all about being patient, putting in the work, not trying to rush things, because on both sides, right, you can't crash diet, lose weight as fast as possible, because then you're probably just going to gain it all back, because you're going to hate yourself while you're losing all that weight. And you can't dirty bulk and try to get as big as possible, as fast as possible, because in the end you're probably just going to get fat, and then you're just going to have to diet all that fat off, like I'm having to do right now. So it's just a lesson. Hopefully you guys don't have to go through what I had to go through, because, man, looking back, I look rough. And there was really close to no pros to that. Like, I don't think I put on that much muscle at all during that quote-unquote bulk. But I think it's about looking at ourselves from like a third-person perspective and realizing, and like, just look at yourself objectively. Like, when you look in the mirror, is that honestly how you want to look? Do you feel good? If you honestly feel good, then keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? I'm not here to tell you how you should live your life. But yeah, man, thank you for watching.